Hey, how you all doing? This is Lee Gerstmann, and this is another record review for you. This time I have to give a "Hey, buddy, how are you doing?" to Jean-Paul Bourdon, who suggested that I review an album from a group called Hard Stuff, and the album is called Bulletproof. And I have to say that John Gustafsson, who was in Hard Stuff, he was also in Quatermass, which was a really cool group that I liked, and he also worked session-wise on some of Roxy Music's albums. So I had heard of him, and I think that there were some guys or some connection to Atomic Rooster, which was also a really cool group. And so Hard Stuff was kind of like a sort of group that was in the middle of, there were some groups that these guys were in that I had heard of before and after. So this was like the bridge, the middle period, so to speak. So it was like connecting the dots for me. I hadn't heard Hard Stuff, even though I had heard of them. So regardless of what I would have thought of the album, it was sort of a must hear for me because I like classic rock obscurities, and this was definitely in that category. Well, anyway, I'm just going to go through the songs. The first song is called J Time. This is a very interesting song, sort of unique, but very catchy. Could be a new favorite of mine. And then Sinister Minister. This is a bit different, kind of like the group Nuts, and they were spelled N-U-T-Z. Odd chord changes, but very well done. I like it. And then the song No Witch at All. The words sound a little bit like something I would write, and the music's sort of like something I would do in collaboration with Pascal Garneau. It also oddly reminds me of the Moody Blues song-wise. Weird but good song. And then Taken Alive. This has a T-Rex vibe to it. Pretty cool. I could also imagine the Rolling Stones doing this with Mick Taylor. And then Time Gambler, Rodney. Melodically, this sounds like something I would write. It's a little eerie but cool. And then the song Millionaire. This reminds me of Steppenwolf. Instead of sounding like a song Steppenwolf could do, it sounds like one of their songs Hard Stuff did better, figuratively. This is the closest to a party rock song on here so far. I dig it. The middle part is really hot. And then Monster in Paradise. This has a little bit of a Black Sabbath vibe to it, but quite a bit weirder. It's a fun song and I like it. And then Hobo. This reminds me of the Faces in a way. It's got a cool swagger to it. The guitar has sort of a Mick Ralphs vibe to it also. And then Mr. Longevity, R.I.P. This sounds kind of like my old band, Dirty Blackjack Thunder, but with a more complex chord sequence. It's weird but interesting. And then The Provider, Part 1. This sounds like a continuation of the last song, but just as a rough jam. It's not bad. The bass style reminds me of Gene Simmons. And then Monster in Paradise, the early mix. I like this mix better, but otherwise it's the same song I already talked about, so I don't need to say much more about it. Okay, well, this might have been a deluxe edition with a few added songs, so I really didn't take the time to figure out which songs were the deluxe ones, even though I would probably think that the last two were bonus material. But anyway, I'm really glad that I heard this album because this is generally the type of music that I'm into. It's a little bit different too. It's like, even though it has a heavy rock style to it, they're really not quite like any other group that I had heard, so that's a good thing. Well, anyway, I really enjoyed listening to this, and I have to thank you, Jean-Paul, for suggesting that I review it. Well, okay, take care.